Right, it's a big week at York then. Here is the track right behind me. As you can see, it is flat, it is galloping, it is a speedy track. It's perfect for the lawnmowers, big lawnmower bias, as you can see there. But maybe that's why the low draws do well here at York. I'm just going to see if he's cutting it any shorter over there. Look at that, lovely stuff. Look, the best place to be really is on that far side rail because the ones in front of you, it's like those speed tracks whereby if you lose half a yard, if you have to put the brakes on in any way, shape or form, those in front of you don't, and they are gone and they're clear and you can't get near them. And again, look, see, he's definitely cutting the grass more on that side. That's why. Okay, actually we said we'd get his name. We said we'd get his name and he's gone. We've lost him. All right, hang on. Mate, what's your name? Come back. What's your name? Hello, good evening and welcome back to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post. And isn't it wonderful when you get to reuse something you filmed the other day because it didn't work last night. If at first you don't succeed, try again as we return to the studio in Leeds to look back on day one of the Ebor meeting and look ahead to day two. Again, York is a tough punting track, or is it? Gosden, Haggis, Balding, all the top trainers, and Beckett, of course, are winning the feature races today. But it was nearly another heart in the mouth pacemaker farcical scenario in the big race. In the end, the plan worked to absolute perfection. But I can tell you, being on track, there was an air of stupefaction, I think, for the majority of the home straight. But Ombudsman certainly stamped his authority once again to prove that Sandown just ain't his track. But everywhere else, he's certainly the best in the business over that trip this season. Elsewhere, it was another disappointing day in the Acomb for Appleby and O'Brien, despite last year's turning over of that bad stat. But it was Guam for Andrew Balding, who did go on and might well go on, as he's a fairly scopy type, and he won quite nicely in the Acomb. Pride of Arras lost a couple of things, including the Derby and the Irish Derby, and since then he's lost another couple of things, and that certainly focused the mind today. And again, a slightly odd voltage, but it was slightly odd across the field at York today. Good to firm ground, but maybe with a little bit of water in. That's pretty much the story of the summer. It hasn't rained properly for months and months and months. I certainly have plenty of sympathy for the clerks of the course, but it does make for slightly strange viewing at times. But hey, that's York. Like I said, we had some impressive performances which we're going to dissect in a second with Mr. Paul Kealy. We rattled up the A64 to York to watch most of the feature races, and I wasn't next to you for the International, but everyone who was around me when I was watching that race.
Oh, there was a lot of what are they doing?
Yeah, it was like, what the heck, this is happening again.
I mean, when we talked about it last night, I said, is this horse good enough to not just ignore?
Yeah.
And they did ignore him, but the one thing it made them do is they made them race a long way out.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
Because he was so far clear, and they thought they had to go. And of course, they didn't race a long way out of Sandown. It made the difference to Ombudsman, a proper test of the trip. Yeah,
and yeah, you're right. I mean, when we were watching it, I'm thinking this is a speed track that often favours front runners. This is a good horse. He's kicked miles clear. And I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be daft again. But like you said, when you actually watch the replay back, then if it had been a dawdle, Ombudsman would have had to quicken down the home straight, and that panic that it set into the jockeys actually ended up helping the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I'm gathering the sectionals at the end, closing sectionals are quite fast. I'm hearing, but.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what they are yet, but yeah, it was a strange race. It was a good race.
Yeah.
It was certainly fascinating throughout, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't think you can argue the best horse has won, isn't he?
No, and that's the thing, isn't it? It was just a weird one to watch and experience at the time because it didn't prescribe to what you expect a race of that nature to look like. And again, it was hard because you essentially, even the cameraman was having to split between two races. So when you're watching it, you're thinking. The problem is, I spent most of the race trying to work out how far it was between the pacemaker and the field, rather than actually watching the race itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is always a danger that they will ignore a pacemaker when they know it's not good enough.
Yeah.
All right, and once in a blue moon, that pacemaker will stay there.
Yeah.
Right, as happened in the Sussex Stakes, because you know, I swear nobody can really know the difference between 32 mile an hour and 34 mile an hour. You know, and doing that for a minute is 50 odd metres.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's got to be very hard. You try doing it in a car, don't have a speedometer and try and tell whether you're going 2 miles faster than you were a moment ago. I mean, it's very difficult.
I would, yeah. I'll try it next. I'll close my eyes. I'll
close your
remove
eyes,
the speedometer.
I was going to say close your eyes. I thought, what am I saying? You know what I mean? But you know, it's just it's got to be very hard to do. And I know they're riding all the time, but it's very hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the very much the bragging rights back to Ombudsman. Good evening to Graeme Rodway, who's joining on the show tonight. Rodders, you're tanned, you're refreshed, back from a holiday, and you've returned to the fun and games of the Ebor meeting. What did you make of today?
Yeah, I left for Spain after one farce and Kirat winning the Sussex, and almost came back from Spain to watch another one, didn't I? It was absolutely nuts, wasn't it? I couldn't believe how far Cleary went. I mean, Keels mentioned the sectionals. I've seen them, and you know, the sectionals suggest that the jockeys have got it well wrong, but that Bird Castle just wasn't good enough to hold on. Essentially, I think Ombudsman's finished at around 109 odd %, and Burcastle's finished at 97. You know, if Burcastle had finished at 100, he'd probably won, wouldn't he? And we'd have had another boil over. And that would have been 2 big races in 4 weeks, where you got a huge 201 winner with all the other jockeys messing it up. Is this the worst generation of jockeys that we've ever seen? That's the question that comes into my mind. I mean, you go back over the years, and your Pigots and your Carsons and your Bat-Edderies and Kieran Fallons and people like that. I mean, would they have made these mistakes that these fellas have made in the last 2 races?
I don't know. I think we've always had turn-ups. We've had, you know, throughout history, we've had silly results from pacemakers making all and being ignored. I think that, you know, I'm not saying they're all absolutely brilliant right now, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think this sort of thing does happen quite a lot.
Yeah, but maybe a bit of recency bias, because it's happening certainly this season. But yeah, but again, I mean, we also go through generations. You don't get just generations of horses, runners, but also generations of jockeys. And you know, like, I mean, look, the rider with considerably the best record at the Ebor meeting in the last 10 years is Frankie Dettori, and there is quite the Dettori-shaped hole at this week to a certain extent, I would say.
Definitely, yeah, and I mean, it was just weird to watch. It was a weird race. There were 2 different races. Ombudsman won the second race. Burcastle was running a race of his own. Buick still got it wrong on Ombudsman, but he was just better than the rest.
Yeah.
So he won.
What did you make of the rest of the card then? We talked about, I mean, you know, I got it wrong with Sea the Fire being a York horse, although again, I'm not sure the race was necessarily run to suit her the way it was. But we talk about York horses and horses for courses, and you know, Pride of Arras looked really good here earlier in the season. Completely bombed out, so much so that he's now, you know, lost his tackle, which means that Rafe Beckett now has possibly 2 of the best Ledger candidates in the country, except neither of them can run in Amalok and Pride of Arras because they're too quirky for their own good.
Yeah, that's right. And Pride of Arras did really well to win, I thought, but he did travel nicely through this race. It was a totally different horse that we saw today, wasn't it, to the one that we've seen in the last couple of runs in the 2 derbies. But it just shows you, doesn't it? We see it every year in, year out. For some reason, York's a weird trap that some horses love and some horses don't get on with. And Pride of Arras is clearly one of those who loves it.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine I'll just, I don't know, just stick to York in future potentially. But but again, that was, look, you had a dual derby winner who drifted like a barge in the market.
Yeah, everybody seemed to know. Everybody seemed to know. In fact, I was standing in the bar and I heard somebody say, you know, it's a good job Aidan O'Brien ran 4 in a race, isn't it? Because something had to finish 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
It was so strange because I mean, Lambo was being scrubbed along. Stay True travelled really well and completely blew up, and the other 2 were either out in front and dropped out, or Mount Kilimanjaro never got involved. It was
Mount Kilimanjaro never got involved. I mean, that was one people were talking about was one, and he was quite well backed.
Yeah.
Right, you know, but Aidan O'Brien's comments in the paper suggested he needed the race even more than Lambourne. Yeah. You know, and when he does say that, it does tend to be borne out.
Well, but like I said, when I looked at the statistics, because I used to oppose the O'Brien horses quite a lot at this meeting because, like I said, I think it was look the other day, 7 winners in the last 2 seasons, and in the last 10 years he's had 7 winners, and it does feel that, again, trainers, creatures of habit, that maybe this meeting for him is a stepping stone to the autumn rather than the be-all and end-all.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it seems maybe after today that might have gone back to being the case.
Yeah, could be.
So who knows? Okay, let's have a look at the chat. We are live and interactive, of course. Please get involved on the YouTube chat. Let us know your best bets in capital letters and what you thought of today. Eden's best bet for tomorrow is Amazing Journey. Destiny Sounds reckon Ocean Murphy is most likely winner is Stellar Sunrise. No Pattaya for Shanna's gone for Stayer in the first, the romping home for Alice Monet in the 410. And as for the others, Philip Clayton says that Rodders, what a load of rubbish about jockeys. As with every other sport, jocks are now fitter, more athletic, stronger and better trained. They are fitter, happier, more productive, in the words of Radiohead.
He didn't say they could get pace correct, though, did he?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they're focusing on all the wrong things. But yeah, Philip Clayton thinks you're talking poppycock, Rodders.
Well, give me Kieran Fallon in his prime over this lot any day of the week, Ross, that's for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Okay, let's get stuck into day 2 then after this. All right, back to York then for day 2 of the Ebor meeting, and we kick off in the first race of the day is the Lowther Stakes. It is a Fillies group race then on the opening contest of the day. Group 2 then for the Fillies, and Royal Fixation is 11-8 favourite. Royal Fixation 11-8. America Queen 5-2. Stayer is 11-2. War Faith is 11-1. 16-1 Argentine Tango. Dandana is 28. And then there's plenty in there who on paper are making up the numbers, but we have had some big price winners. Swing Along a few years ago beat her stablemate at a very big price indeed. But again, is there a bit of recency bias with the favourite here in the shape of Royal Fixation? Because Ed Walker, of course, won this with Celandine last year. He's having a very, very good season indeed. Royal Fixation was impressive on debut and was the only horse to give Venetian sort of a bit of a fright last time out. And, we're trying to pick out the best juvenile filly of the season. And I think it's fair to say that she isn't here, so the market is going with the next best thing. Yeah,
well, is Venetian Sun the best 2-year-old filly we've seen so far? I don't know about that. She looked brilliant at Royal Ascot. But Royal Fixation made her work at Newmarket, didn't she? And if she is the best, then she's second best by not very much.
Well, this is I'm thinking.
Who else
we've got?
Beaten
since last time
exactly.
out. So.
We've got no O'Brien horse to worry about, and she deserves a place at the head of the market, doesn't she? I don't think there's any doubt about that. It was a really, really good run at Newmarket, and she was impressive. And she's at a level that roughly the same level of the last 3 winners as well. So she's there. I mean, there have been better Lowthers than this in the past, and she's at a level of the last 3 very average winners. And she might not need to improve to win because we've got a second favourite we know literally nothing about because America Queen beat a bunch of trees first time out. She looked great doing it, but they've all finished tailed off since.
And we've been stung before with this type
of
horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was nothing special about the time. Yeah. She just beat a load of rubbish. Horses that will spend the rest of their life in cellars by the looks of it. So yes, she could be very, very good. Richard Hughes is another trainer having a great season, and he had a winner on the board today. But we just don't know, and she's short enough for a horse that you just don't know. I think because basically, she got given quite a high RPR there, but her top speed figure was nearly £40 below it. Yeah,
it was fine. It was absolutely fine. Yeah. It was a pretty good maiden win.
Yeah, but with all the runs of all the others, you'd be tempted to drag that RPR a bit further back, wouldn't you? Yeah. Which would give her even more to find than she has.
I think it's more that she's not. She's going to have to go and do beating trees easily and lengthening the stretching away is one thing, but if it's a whole new ball game tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, she might be good enough. We don't know. Yeah. She did look, she looked exceptional, but an average horse can look exceptional against bad horses.
Yep.
You know, and that's the problem. That's what you've got to worry about. And some of the others have pretty solid form. Stayer's run against Fitzella was really, you know, it was really solid. That's got a chance. And Argentine Tango just keeps turning up and running solid races. But I think Royal Fixation will probably win. But I thought if there was one that was a little bit overpriced, then that might be Brian Ellison's War Faith.
Yeah.
She only just got beat on her debut in a three-way photo, and then it was a Mickey Mouse race that she won next time at Hamilton, I think it was, but she won easy. And then she went to France, La Teste de Bouc or whatever.
La Teste de
barely heard of it,
yeah,
but it's in the southwest of France, and I don't no idea what the strength of the form is like. But half a dozen of the horses that she beat were previous winners who'd been awarded RPRs in the mid to high 80s, and she fairly thrashed them. And Christophe Simeon was booked. She was well back. She was 2-1 favourite. She won by 2.5 lengths. And you know, it might be a good piece of form.
Well, when she won at Hamilton, and I remember saying, working elsewhere, and I was saying that a York Nursery would be a good target, and she's obviously
they obviously think
a
fair bit more of a to send her away for a listed race and book Simeon, and. You know, I think Brian Ellison has run a couple of big prices in this race. He had a runner-up back in 2018, I think it was, and he had a 50-to-1 shot finish, a close 5th last year. You know, he's not renowned for Group winners, Group 2 winners, especially with juveniles, but I think she might run well at a price.
All right. So Keels is not keeping the faith with the favourite, or he is to a certain extent, but possibly War Faith, who's a 10-to-1 shot, or there or thereabouts, for Tom Marquand and Brian Ellison. What did you make of this? Again, it's another. The 2-year-old races. The problem is we don't have enough to go on, do we, Rodders? And horses improve so quickly. So I really don't like backing horses like Royal Fixation. You think, oh yeah, that best piece of form last time out. That's the best piece of form, 5-4. Because, you know, blink and suddenly that best piece of form is the 3rd best piece of form or the 4th best piece of form, and it's just a very skinny price, even if she is so far comfortably the best horse in the race.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Ross. You'll often hear me on this show saying that I just don't know what's going to win these 2-year-old races because I just don't. A lot of the time, because, like you say, the form is there, but the form is there to be shot at, and there's so many horses in this race who could improve past Royal Fixation, who does have the best piece of form, no doubt about it. I mean, that next second to Venetian Sun does look like the clear pick, but she's priced accordingly, and you could easily go and take a short price about her, and something go and take a huge jump forward. For that reason, I was gonna take a little bit of a flyer on. Charlie Johnson's run a time for showcasing, who's won 2 out of 2 and looked quite good, I thought, last time at Newbury in a novice event. I mean, only an RPR of 80, but it was a better time than the American Queen recorded, that's for sure, when she won by 12 lengths at Haydock in the same ownership. And she's like 50 times the price of America Queen. Mark Johnson won it, didn't he, a few years back with Fredding, who was quite a tough and genuine filly. And I like the way that Time for Showcasing finished off her race last time out at Newbury. She was very strong inside the final furlong, having looked like she was going to be in trouble half a furlong out. She was well on top near the line. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to win this race, Ross, but I'm going to take a flyer on one at a price. Time for Showcasing for me.
Yeah, why not? To be fair, I'm not sure most of the trainers know if the horses are good. If a lot, you know, it's the time of the season where we're thinking we've won a nice novice, or we've won a half-decent race. Let's go to York and test them, and that's why they are quite hard to work out. I mean, although admittedly, I do think Stayer's overpriced. I think she's yet to run a bad race. She's pretty much the only George Scott juvenile to win on debut. She lacked the tactical pace at Ascot behind True Love to get involved there, but plugged on to finish a close-up 5th. I like the way she rattled home at Sandown. And last time out, I thought she was the best horse in the race behind Fitzella. I mean, she was on the wrong part at the track. Fitzella was making all on the other side and travelled like a dream. And it was one of those ones where James Doyle probably thought, I've got this race won. And how many times at Ascot do you then look over and think,
look over and then, hang on, yeah, you can make that out. She is pretty solid at the price, that has to be said.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the chat. What we got? Anyone for this? Is Secret Hideaway course winner just a spare ride for Ossiett, or does she have a chance, and romping home likes Argentine Tango. Yeah, to be fair, we should mention Secret Hideaway because we talk about York horses. She won the Mary Gate and she's back here.
She did, yeah. I don't think that was much of a race, but Adrian Keatley does well. He has lots of horses run well at this meeting. He had a horse hit the frame in the Nursery today.
Yep.
And yeah, he has won. He has won his share of prizes at this meeting, or at least prize money. So yeah, I think she's got a fair bit to find myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a big price. I mean, it's not a race where I always hate being poo-pooing the chances of a 33 to 1 shot, because
yeah,
you know, why would you? Like, you know, but if you put somebody off a winner at that sort of price, like, you know what I mean? I love backing bigger priced horses.
Yeah.
You know, but you've got to like him yourself to back them, haven't you?
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. You don't want to be like, God,
this
is only. This
yeah, I don't
this
want to
only...
turn and say, no, that's got absolutely no chance. I mean, you're on a hiding at nothing anyway.
Well, and especially if you go to the races tomorrow, because they'll find you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You say you put me off that 33 to 1 winner, mate. So fair enough. Royal Fixation then a 5 to 4 shot in the opener, but yeah, a couple of angles against her.
Yeah, I mean, Argentine Tango chased home the favourite for the Nunthorpe last time, like, you know, and she's 14 to 1.
Yeah. All right, combination trackhouse on the first 10 in the betting then, possibly. But yeah, it is. It's a tough race, which makes the 5 to 4 about the favourite look pretty skinny indeed. Second race on the card at York tomorrow is a big field sales race, which again you often get loads and loads of runners in this race, but there's about 5 trainers who seem to win not only this sales race but every sales race. And to be fair, they ain't named Archie Watson, but he does have the favourite here in the shape of Tadej, who was a Group 3 winner last time out, and is 5 to 2 under Holly Doyle. Anthelia is 9 to 2, 11 to 2 Rakeb, Frontline Fury is 6 to 1, Song of the Clyde at 7 to 1, Ardesia 16s with Golden Brown, Ricky Tiki Tavi is 16 to 1, Saffron Dandy is 18s, 25s Karma Chameleon, and 28 to 1 bar those. But again, very similar to the first race, Rodders, because we've got a 2-year-old race here where essentially, you know, the market is going, you've got the best form, you've got the highest rating, you're the best horse in the race, put you in at a skinny price, albeit a little bit bigger than Royal Fixation. Tadej also does have course form, but again, it's weird, these sales races. There just seems to be 4 or 5 trainers. I mean, Hannon, Clive Cox has won this the last 2 seasons. Obviously, Haggis has won this a few times. Dascombe's got quite a good record. Kevin Ryan, Rod Millman likes to buy a cheap one and run in the Super Sprint in this kind of race. So it's funny how they should be hard horse races to win, but some trainers seem to win it way above their station.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, you go back down the history of this one, and Hannon's got a racing record in it, hasn't he? It used to be quite easy to pick the winner of these sales races. I always used to think just back the one that was the clear class act, because unlike in the previous race, when we were saying that, you know, these juveniles have got the potential to improve past each other, a lot of these horses that run in these sales races probably only running because the prize money's so big and they're qualified and they're praying for a miracle. Really, the class does tend to come to the fore, and backing top rated BHA horses in them hasn't proven a bad strategy in many of them down the years. The question here for Tadej, of course, is still 1, isn't it? It was the 2 sprints today were high drawn winners, weren't they? And Tadej is right over on the far rail in stall 1. So I don't know whether that bloke with a tractor that you were talking to has been out and done any work on the track tonight, Ross. But I'd certainly be worried about taking 5 to 2 about Tadej if he's going to be out on his out on the far rail.
I would say that the first race of the day was box 7, box 4, box 10, and box 8. So that was
well, I was going to make that point. In the first race, they came to the middle.
And hung
and then hung back to the inside, whereas later on in the other sprint, some stayed there, and they were all well beaten on that far side. And it was stalls 14 and 19 won, and then in the 7 furlong race, stall 22 comes and wins, and they're coming, at least down the middle. So I'm wondering whether you actually want to be on, whether you do want to be on that side.
Yeah, I don't know, but again. It just does start to boil your brain.
Oh God, of course it does. Yeah, of course it does.
Because you
at least it's not. At least it's not Ascot. I mean, you could almost guarantee that it'd change over the time at Ascot.
Yeah, but again, the mad thing again. Part of the reason when we were at the track, it's such a narrow track. there shouldn't be a draw bias. There shouldn't be a best place to be because
Yeah.
you're barely 2 horse widths off the rail if you're down the middle. Albeit, and by the way, we did find out John and Adrian is fantastic groundsman at York, and Adrian was apoplectic when I talked to him later and suggested, do you cut the grass on the far side? And he was like, oh, absolutely not. We've got to go to the going stick and we make sure everything is completely, even across the board. So we still can't get to the bottom of that one, but. Yeah, box 1 should, Rodders, actually be a great place to be at York. It is traditionally a great place to be at York. But I don't know if, I don't know if it's the watering that's changed a little bit. I don't know, but I know what you mean. If he does get isolated, it could be an issue.
Yeah, certainly in the last race, the second last race today, there was one that shot right up the middle and was clear, wasn't it, for a long way? It got very tired inside the final furlong. But we could be reading too much into it. It might all change that. Before I made my selection on this race before I saw the draw, so I'm going to stick with Amphelia, the tough and genuine super sprint winner. I mean, we know that she goes well in this sort of race, don't we? Because we saw it last time at Newbury. I suppose the question mark with her is that all of her wins have come over 5, and the one time she ran over 6, she was well beaten, but she didn't run that badly behind Argentine Tango in that listed race at Newmarket. I was there that day. She didn't get a great start. She was out the back. I don't know whether that was by design, maybe trying to hold her up to get the 6 furlongs. I'm not sure they'll do that this time. I think you'll see her a little bit closer to the pace, given that York's a real speed track, and if she's going to get 6 furlongs anywhere, it'll be here. So, yeah, I'm going to take a chance on Amphelia. She's in stall 6.
Yeah, I mean, and she did, to be fair, she beat some 6 furlong horses last time out. She wasn't just out speeding speedballs. It was, I think she's obviously just tough and genuine, isn't she? Which is really helpful in these big fields. She's got plenty of experience as well, which, to be fair, most of these have. It's there's a lot of form on the table here.
There is a lot of form at the time, but sometimes you can just throw it in the bin, can't you? I mean, I mean, here's the problem, right? There's always a massive fill for this because it's filthy prize money, isn't it? Like, even 5th to 10th get 17 grand each, right? So you get a load that the chance, I think you're running for this prize, you're chancing it, but you've actually got a fair bit of prize money to chance your arm at, haven't you?
Well, you have to go win 3 nurseries, all finish 10th. Yeah, it's the same prize money.
Exactly, yeah. And of course, you look at this race and think, oh, look at these horses. These horses at the top here, these are miles better than the others. And then Diligently comes along like last year, rated 78, and beats a short price favourite. It can happen.
Well, in fact, I've got, what have we got? 36 horses have run in this with a rating of 100 plus, and 2 won. So, I mean, you often, and those ratings are so flimsy because there's not that much form.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So it's a horrible race to punt in. So, I got away with it by back. I think it should have been a ring I backed once, and I got away with it. Just managed to get up. But I've done it in a few times in this race back in the form horses. So I was going to take a step back. I think Frontline Fury will run well. Ran well in the sales race in Ireland last time. I think he's not a million miles off the best of them. And if the draw on the high side is where you want to be, then he's got a decent draw then. And I think Golden Brown will run well as well. Now he's one of the lower rated ones. He's drawn in the middle, and he's only got an official rating of 78. But I thought he should have won that race at Goodwood, that Nursery at Goodwood last time, with a clear run. And it looks like he might have improved a little bit. There'd be 2 very, very tentative stabs.
Okay.
A hard race.
I thought again, ignoring the draw, I like the low draw normally, but I did think Ardizia was a little bit interesting. I mean, she's last 4 runs, she's won twice and then been shockingly unlucky on.
Well, Golden Brown was 4th to her.
Yeah. So it's half decent form, isn't it? On the chat, what have we got? York is not the place to be back in favourite, says Dave Henderson. Absolutely, we said that last night, and I couldn't agree more. The going stick said the far side was slower today, said Bucky's Foe. So again, maybe John and Adrian have done me over after all. With maybe they went over afterwards and poured some water on it. They didn't. They absolutely didn't. They're true professionals. That's a joke. And that's no real opinions, to be fair, on much of the others. Apart from that, Destiny Sound says, Ross, didn't the Lost Sock qualify for this race, only beaten ahead by Ricky Tiki Tavi? I think it's more, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is you qualify by the sale, not the races you run in. So,
yes, it's a sales race, yeah.
So it depends which sale you went in. But yeah, Ricky Tiki Tavi did do that's got a little piece of form. And Kevin Ryan again. One of the best wins I've ever had was on one of his horses in a sales race at Donny a few years ago. Probably was about 15 years ago now, so fair enough. Right, let's move on, shall we, to the third race at York on the card. It's the Clipper Handicap. We've got a mile to go here. Proper traditional race on the Ebor meeting, and it's an 18-runner contest. And the market has a William Haggas at the top of the bet. William Haggas trained horse at the top of the betting, because how many progressive mile handicappers does William Haggas have every season? It seems to be 3 or 4 every year, start to grind their way through the ranks and then end up as potential group horses. It's not just milers, of course. Santorini Star, who won the Stallions race today, might well be doing a very similar thing in 6 to 12 months' time. But Bullet Point cannot run a bad race, Keels. This horse is, again, a lot of times people say, oh, this horse is a joy to own. And I think, yeah, maybe, but it must get frustrating to get beat. But every single time he runs his race.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got a great chance, isn't he? I don't think anybody can deny that, can they? He's drawn in stall 3.
Yep.
He's finished second in the Hunt Cup, winning his side after having won at Newmarket, and then he's finished second. Just got pounced on basically in the International Ascot. 2 absolutely solid runs. He's £3 well in because he hasn't gone up for the other one. There's loads to like about him. It's not going to surprise you at all if he wins.
Yeah.
My only concern was there's potentially a fair bit of pace pressure, because Sisyphean can go forward, so can Urban Lion, so can Northern Express, and I just, it's hope more than anything. I mean, he had the winner of this last year, didn't he? Oh no, sorry, that was Treasure Time in the 3-year-old.
The 3-year-old one, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm hoping rather than expecting that we get a really strong run race, and I can find a couple that can come through. And one of the horses I really liked last week was Old Cock, but he seemed to shorten despite getting a high draw. And I wanted to take a chance if I was going to back something drawn high, because 8 of the last 10 winners have been drawn in single figures, although 18 of the last 40 placed horses have been drawn in double figures. So there might not be a huge edge. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but I thought there may be a couple of interest at bigger prices to come off the pace, and one of them I thought was Apiarist. He's a course winner and won a decent race here as a juvenile. He was 4th in the mile race last year to Treasure Time, the 3-year-old race, and was drawn 19 when the first 3 were drawn in low single figures. So I thought he did really, really well then, and he looked well handicapped, and obviously he was well handicapped because he won 3 times on the all-weather afterwards. And he's run twice this year. He's run 7th, I think it was, 7th or 8th in the Buckingham Palace.
Hunt Cup, I think.
It was the Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And then he went to Galway, and he had a bad draw again, drawn out wide, and got hampered, and he had no chance whatsoever. And I don't quite know how he managed to finish 4th.
Well, you played me the video back yesterday, and I knew he'd finished 4th, and I was still watching. It's one of those ones where
how does that finish 4th?
How does he finish 4th?
Yeah. I mean, I know it sort of opened up like the Red Sea, didn't it, on the inside? But he still had to make that ground up, and I thought it was a really, really good run. Those 2 runs were over 7 furlongs. This is a mile, which I think he wants. So I thought, he'd run well, but he was. I mean, looking on my screen, he's 8 to 1 in places now. He was twice that this morning.
Is it a Keel Siegel double up with this?
I don't know what Tom's tips. I've been in racing all day, haven't I? So I've got no idea.
Tell us about the other one.
The other one I hadn't even thought about, because I was having a look at this race a week ago. I hadn't even thought about, but Leadman ran in 7 furlong handicap at Newbury on Saturday and was given loads to do against a horse who was in front after a furlong and was going clear of everything else. And how he nearly got there, I don't know, because he made up a huge amount of ground. He's by Kingman. He's got siblings that have won over further than a mile. This will be his first run in a handicap at a mile. I think that will suit him. I think he's going to roar home, and he's gone up £4 for that run on Saturday. But by some quirk of handicapping that I still haven't managed to work out, he can actually run off £1 lower than he ran off on Saturday. So he's well handicapped. He's trained by David O'Mara, who's won his share of decent races at York in his time, and I thought he'd go well as well.
Okay, yeah, lead man is a 10-to-1 shot, and it is a double up. Tom Siegel has tipped A Purist.
Oh, is he?
That
won't win then, because we never tip winners together. Very rarely. Sorry.
There you go. Let's put a line through that then. He's also gone for Alto in this, who I did think was a little bit interesting. I mean, the second to More Thunder is a monstrous run, and then he comes back a week later to run in the International behind Two Tribes. And understandably, he's run his absolute face-off at Newmarket, and then he's below par. Yeah. But he also ran a cracker here last year. He finished 5th behind Tolstoy. He looked like he was going to win, and he got swamped. But again, Ian Williams, Billy Loughnane, he's another horse with York form.
Yeah, that's definitely seeable, yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, what about you, Mr. Rodway? With Keels and Tom team up with A Purist, they normally get it wrong. I don't know what happens if you throw Rodders into the mix, but what do you fancy?
I backed Leadman or Leadman at Goodwood when I was there a couple of weeks ago because he was drawn right on the inside, and David O'Meara had a really good record in that race that he ran him in at Goodwood. And I mean, I lost my money as they came out of stalls because he was badly hampered early on from stall 1, and he just couldn't get into the race. And apparently he's gone and almost won while I was away in Spain, which would have been typical, wouldn't it? It always happens, doesn't it, as a punter when you're away? Horse that you've backed last time out comes out and wins.
There's nothing worse than going back, being on holiday and coming back and looking through the results. I mean, obviously, you don't see all the horses that you would have backed and got beaten out of sight, but you definitely see the ones where you're like, oh, can't believe that's won.
Absolutely, yeah. I should presume he'd gone down £1 for that Goodwood run. His new mark's not kicked in, so that's why he's running off £1 lower than nearly winning.
No, he won't have gone. He can't have gone down because this was an early closer, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's not get into that, because we were looking at this yesterday.
No idea.
It was hurting my head. So, what do you fancy?
That's my best guess out the window. Anyway, I thought the bet of the day runs in it, and it's not Leadman, it's Mews. I thought. I thought this horse was an absolute certainty for the Jersey Stakes on the back of his win at Doncaster in the novice race there. I did the times that day, and he recorded a really good time when winning that novice race at Doncaster, and he finished the race faster than anything else on the card. So that's a combination we both like, isn't it, Ross? You know, the overall fast time and the fast finish. And Mews was able to come up with that double that day at Doncaster. He turned up for that Jersey Stakes Group 3 at Ascot against fellow 3-year-olds, and I don't think he knew enough. I don't think he was experienced enough. He only run twice, hadn't he? And he found it all happening a bit too quickly for him. He still ran well. He finished 4th, like I said, in one of the better group races of the year, usually. And then he came back back into handicap company last time over course and distance and won when he was hot favourite. He won by only a neck, beating a bunch of these who ran Old Cock and Sicilian, but I thought that he was by far the best horse in the race. He travelled like a dream, stopped the race 2 furlongs out, everything's bumping along, and Kevin Stott's just sitting there motionless on Mews. It was quite a slowly run race, and they finished fairly fast, so maybe that explains why when he was asked to go about his business, maybe the others weren't quite stopping, as maybe they were keeping going, and he wasn't able to put his stamp on them in the way that he looked like he was going to 2 furlongs out, and he won by only a net. He still won. I think if he gets a stronger pace to aim at, the way he travelled that day last time, I think he's definitely a group horse. He might even be a Group 2, Group 1 horse in time. So I think he'd be far too good for these Mews 3-year-olds. He's the only 3-year-old in the race, but only one 3-year-old's won it in the last 10 years. That was Fun to Run last year, but only 8 have run. So it's not a bad record at all, is it? I think he's an absolute good thing here, Mews. All
right, there you go. Rollins thinks Mews is an absolute good thing. To be fair, Owen Burrows has got a good strike rate at the Ebor meeting as well. Mews almost, if you just looked at it, Mews has got the profile of one of those haggis milers without being a haggis miler as well. So I mean, look, the front two in the betting are going to be fairly hard to beat, but there are a few against them. Let's have a look on the chat. The fancies. Julia Augusta around the bend and O'Meara in form says Paul. And Sicilian is much better at York. Gave weight to Mews last time they met, and is a stonking each way bet, says Philip Clayton, with the weights switching around there. And Sicilian and Cerulean Bay are well weighted as well, says Destiny Sound. So there you go, mile handicap at York, the third race on the card. Now, let's get to the feature race of the day, the race we've all been waiting for this week. It is, of course, the Yorkshire Oaks, where 4 horses line up, possibly 3, we don't know. A Strange hasn't been pulled out yet, but there's still time. Mini Hawk 1-3, A Strange 4-1, Killing Queen 10-1, and Garden of Eden is 16-1. First off, it's a strange race. First off, it's a strange market. I'm not sure. I've seen many races where you had an Oaks winner and a Ribblesdale winner, and one's a 1-3 shot and one's a 16-1 shot. A Strange has been talked up as a future ARC winner, but she's going to have to A, turn up, and B, improve. And Killing Queen nicked a race off the front last time out, but hey, this is a 4-runner race, and we almost saw the International nicked off the front today. So could we rule her out, or is this going to be one of the ones where everyone comes on the chat and goes, Mini Hawk wins, move on? Maybe we should just do that. I don't know. Rodders, it's a poor Yorkshire Oaks for sure, but again, 1-3 shots at York, mate.
Oh, it's a terrible race, isn't it? Is this York in August or Cheltenham in March? It's like a Cheltenham race, isn't it? We've got a powerhouse Irish stable with a long odds-on favourite, and they make up half the field. And nevertheless, I think she'll get beat, Mini Hawk. I don't think she's that good. That weekend at Epsom when she won the Oaks, I mean, everything won, didn't it, from the front that weekend? Lambourne and one after the other, they just kept on winning from the front. I know the horse she beat was Whirl, and Whirl's won a couple of Group 1 since, but...
yeah, but Whirl should have beat her on that day, shouldn't she?
Yeah, I felt she just got outstayed that day by Mini Hawk, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot between them, was there? And I took her on last time out at the Curragh, and most of the way I thought she was going to lose. She wasn't going very well. Mini Hawk, backed, we might take the long way. We might take the long way. Travelled really well, looked like she was going to win, and then Mini Hawk just ground her down. She's just a slow, galloping stayer, isn't she? And we saw one of them get beat at short odds in the Great Voltage of today for Aidan O'Brien. I couldn't have Mini Hawk on my mind at 4-11. I'm dead keen to take her on. The problem with the Strange, she wants softer ground, don't she? When I was at Doncaster last year, when she won, it was really bad ground, and she relished it. And I think she's won 2 races on good ground at Haydock, but you never know what good ground at Haydock is. It's usually a bit softer than that, isn't it? So I'll be back in Killing Queen, Ross, the one that stole the race last time out, Longshot. I don't think she did steal it. I thought that the runner-up, Sunday, who's obviously held in quite high regard and came in unbeaten, had every chance to get past her that day. And I thought Killing Queen was holding her all the way to the line. She was behind Mini Hawk that day at Epsom, but like I just said, everything that weekend on the Oaks and the Derby weekend, everything won from the front, and Killing Queen was never able to get into a prominent position, which is where she likes to race. So I think it's a throw-out run, and I think that she's got a really good chance here. She should be able to, 4 or 3 runners, whatever it's going to get. I mean, she should be able to lay up or be right on the pace, which is where she wants to be. And I reckon she'll have Mini Hawk in trouble 2 furlongs, a furlong out. I see that Mini Hawk being pushed along, and Ryan throwing the kitchen sink at it. Now, whether Mini Hawk is then able to come and outstay it like she did last time at the Curragh, that could happen, but I'd much rather back Killing Queen at huge odds compared to Mini Hawk.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, lovely stuff. Right, Mini Hawk, they 1-3. Killing Queen 10-1. Rodder's actually had quite a lot to say about that race.
He did, absolutely. Yeah, I nearly fell asleep. What did he say?
You're just preparing for this race. It's disappointing.
Yeah, it's a massively disappointing race. I mean, if it's Strange doesn't run, somebody's going to pick up 64 grand just for turning up.
Yeah.
Well, which is
if you've got an 80 rated filly or
prize
mare,
money is normally down to 6 anyway, isn't it? I mean, could have stuck something in it, couldn't you? But yeah, it's a rubbish race, isn't it? I get Rodgers' point. I don't think she's a superstar, Mini Hawk. No.
But are any of these?
But this is the problem. I thought Strange might be the way she won at Haydock first time. I think it was faster ground the second time that she ran there, but it's going to be quick tomorrow. It might not be rattling fast York ground. Especially if they put a bit more water on it, but whether they do or not after today, I don't know, because it's not exactly baking hot out there, is it? But it'll still be on the fast side for her. But I'd give her a chance if it was easy going. I'd back her. And I don't really know about the other two. Maybe Garden of Eden doesn't want the ground as soft as it was in France last time, and she's miles better than that on the Ascot form, and she was going forwards until that run last time, so maybe she is a big price. I'm not going to have a bet in the race. Probably not going to watch it either.
No, fair enough. No.
Don't care.
It is.
It's just a disappointing race. There's no point in dressing it up as anything else.
Yeah, it is. It is a disappointing race, especially as normally, especially given how the arc favours the strong staying fillies and mares as well. I mean, if you do win this and win it well, you've got a huge chance at Longchamp in the autumn. Maybe that will be the case tomorrow. I don't know, but it is a little bit of a damp squib unless one of these horses absolutely dots up and puts themselves in the art picture. But even then, right, 3 more races to go then on the second day of the Ebor meeting. Starting off with the 410. Where we have a race where I reckon a few trainers are going to be thinking maybe we should have run in the Yorkshire Oaks and picked up some black type and maybe 50 grand for coming home third. But Rainbow's Edge is 130 here. Aeolian is 9-2. Charlotte's Web 11-2. 13-2 Butterfly Wings. 7's Carmology. Alice Monet is 8s with Lady Vivian. And 20's Bar Those. This is a listed race over 1.5 miles. 2 horses in the King Silks. It's going to take me a few years to adjust to that. But again, the main thing I thought about looking at this race was the same thing you thought, Keels, was it's a 1.5 mile race with not many mile and a half horses.
Not very many stars in it. There are doubtful stars in this race, aren't there, without a shadow of a doubt. I think Rainbow's Edge is a doubtful star. She was running over a mile earlier on this season, wasn't she? Yeah, not 100% certain about her, not 100% certain about Charlotte's Web either. And, the way I was looking at it is the form horses won't stay, but the others aren't good enough. Which is a bit of a worry. So what do you do? And the only one you could say yet about is Aeolian. Not good enough yet because she's only run twice. Now William Haggis won this with a lightly raced filly a couple of years ago, didn't he? I think had only run twice. She's a half sister of Desert Hero, who was obviously very decent. So I'd go down on her side, I think, just as the one with the potential to be a decent 1.5 mile filly. She'll definitely stay. She does have a fair bit to find, but if the others don't get home, and I would question quite a lot of them, to be honest, whether they'll get home, then she might not need to be as good as their figures suggest anyway. And William Haggis is really good at these races anyway, isn't he? And
he's also he's a really patient trainer, so whenever he jumps from novice company to this company, I always think, okay, there's something going on here, because he's more than happy, as we saw with, like I said, the mile handicap.
Yeah, more than happy to take his time.
He'll go. This is a group horse, but we've got a marker 90, so let's just take our time. But he's doing the opposite to that here. So, all right, Aeolian then. Yeah,
that was the one for me. I think if you want an each way bet, a slightly bigger price, Carmology just runs her race, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And she does just about stay 1.5 miles.
She's the York horse as well.
And she runs well at York. She was second. She was actually favourite last year, wasn't she? She won about 7-4, I think. And this race probably isn't that much better.
I would say on our screen, in front of us there's only one horse with a D for distance next to her, and with a lot of suspect stayers. I did think Lady Vivian was a little bit interested.
Yeah, that was another one I looked at because she had one. Yeah.
She, I know it was only a handicap, but she also, she was half fancied for the Ribblesdale, but Beckett was just having a shocking week, wasn't he? Until Amelot popped up, and I'm not sure fast ground around Ascot was going to suit her. I thought this track she was really, really impressive at Chester, and again she's in that pocket of she's good enough to get involved here, and there might be improvement to come.
Yep, could see that.
So Lady Vivian then for Young Ones fans. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. No young ones in here. Anyway, Rodders, what do you like? I
like Rose Prick. Total outsider of the field.
There's no need for that, mate.
I couldn't note that one, could you?
No, it's not just Rose.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
I wonder if this might have been the aim for her, because the same owners and trainer won it last year with Scenic. They ran Scenic in it the year before. And when Rose Prick ran first time out at Nottingham, I was absolutely convinced she wanted further. First time out on turf, I was convinced she wanted further. she stayed on quite strongly that day. She was only a length behind Carmology, funnily enough, the horse that Keel's just mentioned. That was her first run over a mile and a quarter, and it was just about her best effort on RPRs. So it was quite surprising to see Ed Walker then drop her back to a mile at Royal Ascot last time. After a long break, I just wonder if that might have been a tune-up for coming for this race. Like I say, giving the connections and won it. And she didn't run that badly behind Misinformation. She was 8th. I think she'll come on for that. Goes up to a mile and a half for the first time. That might bring out some improvement. It needs to, because she's obviously got a lot to find on form. I did go through and have a quick look to see how many runners Ed Walker had gone from a mile last time to a mile and a half next time. And it was only one winner out of 15, so it's not outstanding. But nevertheless, there is a winner in there. So a big price outside of the field. Rose Brick, Ross.
Yeah, there's nothing worse for us, is there, than going, I'll just check the stats, because you really want you want the confirmation, don't you? And then you're like, oh, it's all right, I guess.
I was hoping to see 5 for 15 or 6 for
exactly.
18. But yeah, 1 for 15. There you go.
All right, fair enough. Okay, right, 2 more races to go then at York on day 2, and we've got another big field handicap here for the Nursery at 4:45. This one's over 7 furlongs, and Andrew Balding, who has a good record in this race, is a 9-2 shot. Peel Park is 13-2. Stella Sunrise, 9-2. Peel Park 30-2. Dublin Bay 9-1. Ballistic Missile 10-1. Special Dividend 10-1. Amazing Journeys 10-1. Hey True Blue is 11s, and Just a Girl 11s, and Champion Island 11s. 16-1 bar those, and again another race to give you a bit of a headache, and even more so after the Nursery today. Rodders, as it was just a mess, wasn't it? It was it was one of those races. It felt Glorious Goodwood-esque, and well, that's been unlucky. That's got stopped in its run. That's in the wrong part of the track, and I wonder if the 7 furlong race is going to be similar. But we do have a favourite here, drawn 19 over 7 furlongs, which often isn't the best place to be, especially as Stella Sunrise was hugged the rail and got into a nice rhythm at Goodwood, and is going to have to do a very different thing tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't know how that'll work out. We spoke about the high draws on the straight course earlier being a plus, and maybe coming down the middle might help Stella Sunrise, but she's going to lose he's going to lose a bit of ground around that bend, isn't he, old Stella Sunrise? That's for sure. Could get parked right out wide. And there's some right old guessing games, isn't there, tomorrow? When you go through the card, and this is just another one. I don't know what's going to win it, Ross, but I'm going to take a chance on Hey True Blue. I thought it wasn't a bad run last time out at Goodwood when he came up right up the stands rail, and he had a wall of horses in front of him, and he was doing some good late work there on heavy ground. Ground might well have been a bit slower than he wants, and he had previously been impressive when he won at Doncaster on better going. So I don't know what's going to win it. Again, it's a complete guessing game, but Hey True Blue would be my idea of a little each way betting it.
All right, Hey True Blue for reluctant Chelsea fans out there then. What about you, Mr. Paul Kealy?
Right, yeah, I was a bit like Rodders. I just got no idea what was going to win it, and I started watching videos and all that, and I've gone back to basics, and I'm going for the one that impressed me most visually. So I know I poo-pooed America Queen, who won by a massive margin, but Just a Girl won for Charlie Johnson at Lingfield last time. That was her 3rd run. She showed promise on the first 2, finished second time, and then she won by 6.5 lengths. I just thought she looked really nice, and it's one of those. And then I looked at her pedigree. She's got 4 siblings that were rated over, that got up to the hundreds, including a full sister who was off the mark 3rd time as a juvenile and finished that season rated 111. So I'm hoping that a little bit of that rubs off. She's got the pedigree again. She's rated 84. I don't know much more about her than that, and there is, the big caveat is back in Johnston Horses at York. I mean, Mark had a terrible record. Charlie so far is worse.
Which makes no sense, does it?
No, it doesn't, because they're local trainers, but they have won. I don't know whether it was this race they've won, but they have won a Nursery at this meeting, and I just liked her basically. So I thought that would be the one for me. The other one I was considering a Special Dividend for Richard Newland and Jamie Insole. He has won very easily twice. Nothing's been able to go with him. No idea what the form is actually worth. But again, he's a half brother to Dividend, who runs in a handicap on Friday. off I think a stone higher mark than Special Dividends got, having finished 3rd or 4th in the Britannia last time. So I just thought those were two interesting on what marks they've got in relation to what siblings have done. So they were interesting for me.
All right, okay. And again, another weird quirk of the season, Richard Hannon. At York, his first 10 runners at York this year, and he's not blanket bombing them like a lot of trainers, either won or placed. He had one finish on place the other day, and then he had a couple of runners in the Nursery today, and in particular First Legion got stopped in its run countless times and finished on the bridle in 6th. He's got 2 in here, Ballistic Missile, who won earlier on in the season at this track and came from the clouds, disappointed in the Coventry, but fell out of the boxes and drifted like a barge and hated every minute of it. But went close last time out, over 7 furlongs, has had a wind up. And the other one is York Ebor, who every time I see this horse, I think it needs further. Came from pretty much last to 4th last time out, over 7. So, but Richard Hannon, he's not firing loads of bullets, but for some reason, he knows what horses handle York this year. And those two were possibly worth keeping an eye on. But okay, one more race to go then. Fillies Handicap to close things off at York on day 2. Dance in the Storm, 7-2 here. Maybe not 5-1. Bonus time 6 as Dash of Azure is 15-2. Silver Ghost 10s, 11's Royal Velvet and Purple Rainbow, and then big head of the rest. And Keels, I think we all know which horse I'm going to be backing in this, because I still think the favourite is a group horse in a handicap, and she.
Yeah, me too.
She would have won last time out if she hadn't been,
she had a high
smashed in the final furlong.
She had a high draw. She got, on another day she'd have got that in the Steward's Room as well, wouldn't she? Like, it was one of those. But she had a high draw. She took a bump. She had to come from miles off the pace. Whereas the winner Mudbeer was drawn, stall 1, had the perfect draw for Goodwood. I think she's miles better than the mark. She's a sister to. She's a half sister to. Dancing Rain, who won a Stewards Cup, and a Group 3.
Dancing Star.
Dancing
Rain won an Oaks, did it?
Yeah, Dancing Star, Dancing Star and Foxtrot Lady. Both of them won Group 3 races.
Foxtrot Lady might have won did she win the Summer Stakes here as well? Maybe, or she certainly had some.
I'm not sure. I know they both won the Sceptre at Doncaster anyway in different years. But yeah, she shapes like she's going to end up as good as them. I don't know why they haven't tried 6 furlongs with her. Maybe, but she certainly's got no issue with 7 furlongs actually, because she rattled home at Goodwood last time. She's up £3, but I think she'll be £10 plus better than that at some point. Yes, she's 7-2 now. That's the only issue, isn't it? But yeah, I like her. I think she's going places.
Yeah, she didn't win. You're right. They won the Doncaster race, but they both did have good York runs on the card, but this favourite, I think she's a group horse in a handicap potentially at Rodders, and that falls into one of your theories of the season, doesn't it? That the markets in these handicaps are more reliable than in the group races.
Yeah, one of my themes of the year, isn't it? Not just at the big flat meetings, but also at times at Cheltenham. That the class horses are really laid out for these handicaps, and they don't miss very often. And Dance the Storm obviously is going to end up a lot better than these in time. I just can't get away from one at a big old price though, Ross, and that was Lady Mariko, who's only run twice for Dylan Cunha and has run 3 times for Dylan Cunha. And the first 2 times she won, and she looked like she was going places, having been dropped to 7 furlongs. She'd previously been run over a mile and further for Simon Ed Crisford. I backed her last time at Newmarket to complete the hat trick, and it all went wrong at the start. She reared up badly and lost loads of ground. They had no chance. So that's a throw-out run, Lady Mariko. I'll be sticking with her. She's got good draw here. In stall 5, and Morgan Cole is taking over, claiming £5. He's not bad for the allowance. And if you take off that £5, I think Lady Mariko's only about £1 or £2 higher than when winning her last race at Yarmouth. So big price for me, Lady Mariko.
All right, Lady Mariko in the last then. Last trip to the chat. Let's have a look. What do we got? Amazing Journey for Off-World. Special Dividend in the 4:45, Philip Clayton. Bonus Time is Destiny Sounds as nap for Mr. Paddy Toomey again. We said that the Bond Silks could have a good week, and they Air Force One ran a blinder today.
So, yeah, did run well.
Wouldn't surprise me to see all of them run well as the week goes on. And Rod Patnard I thought Yogi Bear and John Logie Baird had a kid. I made Logie Bear, but no. All right, that's the last thing I'm going to read from the chat. We're going to play an ad, and then we're going to get the naps. All right, sign up to Racing Post Plus if you haven't done so already. And if you do so, you get to find out Tom Siegel's and Paul Kealy's tips before anyone else. But let's start with Mr. Paul Kealy. And what is your nap on day 2?
Yeah, she's shortened a lot, but I do think she's a Greek horse, so I'm going to go dance in the storm in the last.
So am I. I don't think are we allowed to agree on naps?
Why not?
All right, put it there, mate. Okay, lovely stuff. Dancing the Storm in the last. I don't think you're not going to come in for the treble there, Rodder. So you better give us another one. What do you got?
Yeah, another group also in handicap. Mews 3 o'clock at York.
All right. Each way double on the 2 then, Rodders?
Oh, they'll win double. They'll both win, won't they?
I like your confidence, mate. I like your confidence. Obviously, you again. The holiday's refreshed. The confidence is back, mate.
I've not backed any losers since I got back anyway, so I'm fine.
Had a bet then, yeah?
No, absolutely not. There we go. Okay, thanks ever so much for joining us. Like the stream if you haven't done so already. And yeah, we'll see you back tomorrow night for more of the same, where we'll be previewing the Nunthorpe. And I can assure you there'll be more than 4 runners in that feature event. That's for sure. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.